airplane mode.
Got the beautiful A330 today. Alright, and we are gonna quick start the engines. There we go. I have a button to help me quick start. And while the airplane is setting up, we are gonna go ahead and set up our flight plan here. So let's open up the flight plan that I had earlier, and we are gonna set it. So we are going from uniform Alpha 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 to uniform Alpha India India, and we do that. Perfect. So I'll just set a cost index of 50 here. So in the Airbus airplanes, we have this thing right here, the second EFB that we can use to help us. So we're gonna go to the takeoff page. We are gonna sync this. So we're taking off from runway 05 right. It's dry. It's not raining. We have the heading, wind, air temperature, our takeoff weight, our flap configuration, and we press calculate. And there we go. We have our so our flex temperature 53 degrees, V1 rotate, and V2 at 158. So we press send to FMGS, and that should work here. So yeah, we have our speeds there, so we do have to set it in manually. 146.6 up. That's not up. 6.6 up, and that should work. There we go. Alright, our flex temp was 53, if I remember. Yeah, 53. So we're gonna set that there. 5, 3. Alright, and that should have set up our performance there. So we have the engines there saying, alright, so that's gonna be our engine power on takeoff. Alright, so that's the FMC setup, but we do actually have to set up the flight plan now. So we have to set up our departures. So for those of you who remember, we're taking off 05 right, and we're taking the ECLA to Echo. Actually, we take that one or 1 Bravo? Frick, I don't remember. You can always check in your EFB here. If you don't remember exactly, 1 Bravo is what we chose. 1 Bravo, insert it. Alright, and then you pretty much set up the rest of your waypoints like you did here. You could skip some. Sometimes it's long to set them all up. So we're gonna go ahead and skip all that. Top of client, ECLAT. Alright, so after ECLAT, we're going to binary, B-I-N-R-I, and we'll set it right there. Insert. Alright, and after binary, we are going to AGLIC arrival. We are taking ILS runway 10, and the star is the Turi 4 Hotel. Did have a transition, didn't we? Yeah, we chose TIRUP out via BINRA. Alright, and execute. So now we have the entire flight plan here set up, except of course the ones we we skipped over. But so we have the FMC set up and the EFB set up. Everything's good. Let's get our clearance here and get our departure going. Alright, so we finally got our clearance. One thing I forgot to do before, guys, is set the trim. So we wanted 6.6 up, so that's 7, that's 6, so 6.6 is somewhere right about there. So we set our trim to the correct setting, and they actually gave us runway 05 left for departure, so we do have to come and change that. Departure 05 left, and then the rest we don't change it. So insert. So now we set 05 left for departure, and let's just set up our autopilot very quickly here. So I like to set a here we go, speed 215. Just get a speed after departure. Obviously we have to be less than 250. I like to set my heading to runway heading, which is about 55, I think, for this runway. So heading of 55. There we go. I like to set my vertical speed up already, so we're gonna have 2500 on vertical speed, and the altitude, you know, we got cleared up to flight level 320 already, but we're gonna set that. So after departure, we're gonna get here, and we're gonna get our taxi clearance. So we're gonna open the airport ground chart, and perfect. So runway 05 left is gonna be this one, 05 left. And we're probably parked somewhere there, so it's going to be an easy taxi. So we'll request pushback clearance here. So now we can get our pushback. So on this EFB, it's fun. You have the pushback option for you, ground and pushback, and we just. Ooh, nice mountains in Kazakhstan. Looks nice. Back to my chart here, so we'll just take this taxiway here, that taxiway, and that taxiway, and we'll get to 05 left. So I'm going to keep my EFB open here just to be able to see. So let's go ahead and get the engines worked up here. Alright, one thing that I do have to work on here is options, rudder controls. Yes, that should be better. Alright, leave a like and subscribe, guys, if you like this tutorial so far. So we saw how to set up the flight earlier on, and how to set up our autopilot, EFB, FMC, everything set up. As you can see down below on my screens there, on my displays, we do have the flight plan set up. So there's actually one thing that we didn't do yet, and that's briefing. Alright, so I don't know why there's some lights here in the way. But we do need to make a left here. I'm going to roll on the grass a bit so that I don't hit those runway lights. And there we go. And see what our departure looks like. So we are climbing out. So they tell us max 240 knots up to this point. And at or above 3,300. So once we fly at 3,300, then it looks like we can make that left turn at or below 9,000, it looks like. So we want to stay below 9,000 at this point, and then at or above 7,200. So the altitudes I'm not worried about, so we just have to stay below 240 knots before that first turn. Perfect. So we're going to close that chart. So just a quick little briefing there for our departure, guys. We're going to go back and set it on managed heading. Is that going to work now? Oh, oopsies, that's not heading. I want selected speed, and I want managed heading. Yeah, there we go. So nav turned on. Perfect. And vertical speed is also set. Alright, so my plan is to take off, turn on the autopilot, which will then just bring us automatically on LNAV and following our flight here. And I'll be working on the altitude myself because I don't really like VNAV on this game. It doesn't work too well. Alright. And setting takeoff thrust here. Alright, so we set takeoff thrust, and we're looking to rotate at 157, 80 knots, 100 knots, 120, 140. Alright, V1, and rotate. Positive rate, gears coming up. Alright, pulling my speed back a little bit. And gonna put my nose down a little bit. Almaty center. Roger that. Autopilot set. Alright. So we're on nav mode. I'm going to go ahead and set vertical speed up now. So vertical speed. And setting it up right there. Perfect. Vertical speed is set. Speed hold. And we're going to go ahead and put our flaps back up. And we had to hold below... Oh. Autopilot just came off. Sorry about that. There we go. I touched a button. Alright, so that is departure. And we're going to go ahead and speed up to 235. We just had to be below 240. And we'll contact Almaty Center here.
Almaty Center, Swag Foxtrot, Charlie Whiskey 1414 is at 4,600 feet, climbing flight level tree 20. Swag Foxtrot, Charlie Whiskey 1414, Almaty Center, QNH 1009er, radar contact, continue to AA008. Swag Foxtrot, Charlie Whiskey 1414, keep speed, not above 240 knots.
Alright, so telling us to keep our speed below 240. We already knew that. And, alright, let's go ahead and acknowledge if we can here.
Keep speed, not above 240 knots. Swag Foxtrot, Charlie Whiskey 1414.
Alright, so if you guys remember the this departure chart here, oh my gosh, could you just click the right thing for once? Oh my god. So frustrating, guys. I can't even click what I want to click here. Alright, well, we're gonna forget about it and keep climbing then. Let's keep her going. So LNAV is working, speed hold is on, and nav, cool. So we could even climb a little bit faster here. Gonna push our vertical speed up and keep the plane climbing. Pretty standard departure here out of Almaty. There we have our Airbus 330. Nice little flight here. This is a real flight flown by a real airline. I like to do realistic flights. So it looks like we passed our transition altitude. I'm gonna set it back to standard. And once we get past that 10,000 foot mark, that's our go for speeding up past 250 knots. And we are flying the departure. That's why my autopilot keeps turning off here by accident. Because every time I touch my yoke, kind of shuts the autopilot off for me. Alright. Oh, now I could open the chart. Alright. Well, we don't need our departure charts anymore. We're going to be looking at our ILS charts. However, I don't see the ILS approach here. So we are actually coming up pretty shortly now. So we are going to switch to heading mode here. And we're going to fly downwind heading here about right there. And we're going to do selected heading mode. And there we go. And finally we are going to go... Is that auto throttle turning off? Or okay. So we are going to keep descending at a decent speed here. And keep slowing the plane down a little bit as we are turning. So I want to go direct to Binra now. So this would be the point where you'd kind of get your the ATC giving you vectors in, but the game doesn't do that. So there we go. So now we have a discontinuity that we do want to clear and head direct to Binra. And do I have to execute that, or does it do it automatically? I think it did it automatically. There we go. Anyway, so that's just for the flight plan. So we crossed through 10,000 again. So landing lights coming on, and seatbelts. Oh, I thought I turned the seatbelts off. Anyway, they are back on. So for the ILS approach now, look at that. We got some wind knocking us around here. So we need to actually be descending a little bit faster here if we want to get down to 4,000 feet. Ooh, autopilot turned off by accident. Alright, so for the ILS approach, we simply go into the destination and we set our arrival. We had already set it up, so we chose ILS runway 10, which is already set. So once you set that in, I'm going to go back to the flight plan page here, and we just touch the LS button here, and we can see the ILS frequency is set. We can compare that with the chart here, so we'll go ahead and open our ILS chart. Approaches ILS runway 10, and there we go. So we got 111.7 on the ILS frequency, so we know that we are in the right, have the right frequency set. So this is our plane here. So we're currently coming towards Binra at or above 4,000 feet, making a left turn. Then we're going to intercept the localizer and glide slope here and start our 3-degree glide path for arrival. Go around. We are flying straight out, heading 101 to 4,000 feet. So I'm going to actually set that heading now. Actually, we're on heading mode right now, so I can't. But that's fine. So we have the localizer that's being captured already. Let's zoom in here. It's going to help us. The airport is about 1,300 feet above the sea level, so just keep that in mind. You know, when we're at 4,000 feet, it means that we're actually at about 3,000 feet or so. Alright, so we need to set the QNH. I stopped talking to ATC. I'm just flying this on my own. QNH 1008. So let's set that here. 1008 is set. Alright, and we are flying into Shymkent, I think I'm saying that right, in Kazakhstan. I think this is also in Kazakhstan. Alright, so I think we could turn managed heading back on, so then we should be following our flight plan now, heading towards Binra. Yeah, perfect. Alright, and we should be leveling off at 4,000 feet here any second. Let's keep slowing down and get our flaps starting to come down, get our landing ready. So flaps, I can set flaps 1 plus F at 250. Alright, so we'll set flaps 1 here. Oh, apparently I'm overspeeding. I thought I had slowed down enough. That's fine. We're gonna give it some spoilers here. Help us slow down a little bit. I thought I was slow enough. That's fine. Our flaps won't get that damaged. Alright. And we'll go to 210. Let the airplane keep coming down. Really trying to get it to slow down here, so I'll set another notch of flaps in right now. Alright. And flaps again. And we're going to be overspeeding a second time. Don't worry about that. We're fine. Alright, getting the airplane and keep slowing down. Alright, we're going to set auto brakes. Actually, I have to look at my airport chart here for the auto brake. Speed brake's still out. Alright. Let's go ahead and arm the speed brake here. Speed brake armed. And let's slow down even more here as we are turning on our base turn here. I'm going to turn localizer hold on, and let's look at the airport chart here just so we know what to expect for the runway. So we are landing on runway 10 here. So yeah, we have a pretty long runway and we can roll out pretty much to the end. So we're going to keep low braking on. So here we have medium, high braking. We're going to keep it on low. Auto brake. So speed brakes are armed. We got those set. And now we are just keeping an eye on the ILS here, looking to my left, see if I see the airport out somewhere. I don't see it yet. I'm going to set another notch of flaps in. Flaps 3. So we should be seeing the localizer diamond here making a move. It's going to come join our line right here. And keeping an eye on the glide slope too. And we're going to record this landing here before I forget. Record, and boom, landing is being recorded. And we are turning on final, or we should be. I'm still looking to see my my localizer move. It's not moving. We're just turning with the flight plan here, which is fine for me. Alright, looks like our glide slope's starting to make a move down, so we're gonna get ready to descend ourselves in case that's weird. I don't know why my localizer isn't capturing, but anyway, we're gonna turn on approach hold. Where's approach hold? There it is. Approach hold on. There we go. So localizer intercepted. Cool. Turning on that localizer. Alright guys, so here we are, fully established on localizer and glide slope here. And just coming in on the runway, letting the plane bring us in nicely. I'm controlling the speed now. I turned auto throttle off, so I am controlling engines here. Trying to maintain about 140 knots here for landing, maybe 150 to be safe. Looks like we have a little bit of crosswind here, not too much. Gear is down, auto brake was set, speed brakes are armed. About 150 knots here. Let's try to make a nice landing. Alright, so yeah, we do have just a slight right to left crosswind, so I don't think we'll have to put too much rudder input here at landing. But you never know. Alright, turning autopilot off here.
500.
500 feet.
400.
Alright, trying to stay on that center line.
300.
I don't know, we don't have a lot of wind, but it feels a little gusty. I'm having trouble keeping this
200.
plane on the center line here. Alright.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Alright. And engine's back. And we have touchdown. And reverse thrusting now. And letting the brakes bring us down. I put the nose down a little hard there. Alright. And reversers off. We're going to tap the brakes, let the brakes come off here, and we'll exit the runway right there. Welcome to Shymkent. We are going to set our speed brakes backed up. Actually, that taxiway looks quite small for an Airbus 330. So I'll, oh, never mind. It wasn't that bad. But it's fine. We'll go ahead and take the next taxiway. We have a better angle into it. Just the replay back. I'll set the replay up for you guys, and you could see if that landing was horrible, or I think we pulled it off decently. Now, where the heck is the apron? You know what? They're gonna get out right over there, right beside a Cessna, A330 and a Cessna. No, we don't have a lot of wind, but it feels a little gusty. I'm having trouble keeping this plane on the center line here. Alright.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Alright. And engine's back. And we have touchdown. And reverse thrusting now. And letting the brakes bring us down. I put the nose down a little hard there. No, we don't have a lot of wind, but it feels a little gusty. I'm having trouble keeping this
200.
plane on the center line here. Alright.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 10,
Alright. And engine's back. And we have touchdown. And reverse thrusting now. And letting the brakes bring us down.